So I got a really excellent question today from Sandra. And as you guys all probably know, she's worked really hard over the past couple years. She's been very consistent with her workouts. She's done a great job, made some dietary changes, lost a little bit of weight. So just has really had a big shift in the past couple years from some consistent training, which is, what I preach all the time. It's the consistency that is your number one thing with training above anything else. It doesn't matter. Like your bike doesn't matter. Honestly, your power meter, your heart rate, none of that stuff matters if you're not doing your workouts consistently. But Sandra's question was around the heart rate on the bike and having a hard time getting her heart rate up on the bike. And so I just wanted to address that because we see that sometimes. And so just the basic overview, the bike and the run, we tend to have different heart rate zones. And the reason for that is because running is just so much harder than biking naturally. Your heart rate goes up just higher on the run naturally because it's so much harder. I mean, you are lifting your body up against gravity and then it's coming back down. Harley. And so it's just naturally harder. And so that heart rate goes up very easily, as we all know on the run. I mean, we can feel breathless, no problem on the run. Whereas on the bike, it's just not naturally as hard. And so we have to build the strength on the bike to get that heart rate up. And for most of us, that there's a difference, often of at least 10 beats between, like, if you did, a threshold test on the run where, say, you went and ran 20 minutes as hard as you can on the run versus doing 20 minutes as hard as you can on the bike. For most of us, there's going to be a difference in what those average heart rates would be. So for example, on the run, if you do a 20-minute all-out test, as hard as you can, your average heart rate may be 155. Whereas on the bike, it very well may be only 145. And that is just a reflection of the strength of the muscles, because it's the working muscles that get that heart rate up. And so when you have a difference in how hard those muscles are working, it's reflected in the heart rate. So you may have professional cyclists or, people who train for a super long time on the bike, and they may have similar heart rates on the bike and the run. But for most of us, that's probably not ever something that we're going to see, and that's normal. But what Sandra is asking about is, now she's having a hard time getting that heart rate and that breath rate up on her bike. So her legs are working, but she's not feeling like she's breathing very hard. And what we have seen happen here, and this is an excellent question, is that as Sandra's gotten more consistent with her training, and especially with that low heart rate running that she's done, and she's really seen, I think she's dropped something like an hour and a half to an hour and 45 minutes off of her half marathon time, which is phenomenal. And done it without injury. Just really consistent, small chunks. It's great. But what has happened as her times have come down is internally her, her body's ability to deliver oxygen to the working muscles has really improved, and her muscles' ability to use the fuel, which is sugar, glycogen, carbs, and oxygen to get the resources it needs to work have improved. So that low heart rate running is like building just a really good network of blood vessels to all those working muscles, because your muscles need oxygen in order to work. So when you're running at that low heart rate, what you are doing is building that internal structure to deliver the blood and the oxygen and the glucose to those working muscles. And so it's happening internally. And so now you've got this great network throughout your body to get all of that oxygen and blood to those working muscles, right? And when she's done that over the years with this low heart rate running, it's just really made a robust internal system to deliver the oxygen and the blood to the muscles. And, once she gets on the bike, essentially what's happened is that now she's got a really internal, robust cardio system, and the muscles on the bike are just lagging behind in their development. So they're just not quite strong enough yet on the bike to work hard enough to actually match where her cardio system is. So her legs are working really hard on the bike, but her cardio system has just skipped ahead and is a little bit more developed right now than the muscles for the bike. And so she's feeling that in her legs, but not so much in the cardio. And so, and that can be flip flop. I mean, some people, you are feeling fine in the legs and it's your cardio system that is the limiter, is feeling really, like you're breathing hard and your heart rate's high, even though your legs don't feel bad. So you can have a mixed match in your cardio system versus your muscular system and how those are developed. But I just thought that was a really interesting question, because as Sandra has developed her cardio system, what we're seeing now on the bike is that we need to go back and do some strength work on the bike and develop those working muscles in the legs, so that those legs can work a little bit harder and kind of catch up, and we can get her breathing hard on the bike. So she needs to now go back and work on that strength on the legs on the bike to match her cardio system. If you guys have questions about this, put it in. But it was a really interesting observation that Sandra made on her own behalf, and then asked me that question, and I thought it was a good topic for the group. So anyway, another long-winded, video with help from Harley. Okay, bye.